yeah, I would love to be able to do that move. But I can't. Essentially throwing a card to the table, a bit like that.
Beautiful souls, welcome. How are you? Happy Sunday. It's such a joy to be here. Let me find our live. Finding the live here so I can see everybody. Amazing. Go ahead and share this. How has everybody been this week? Just adjust this so I can have proper lighting. All right, guys. Well, it's an honor to be here as always. It's been a beautiful week, lots of amazing, powerful energy. Great to see you guys. Welcome. Thank you so much for those of you that were on the panel with us. We didn't really get to talk a lot about what I thought we were going to talk about on the PTA panel, but thank you so much for joining us. I had so much more to share, but we can talk about that now as well. And yeah, thank you. It was wonderful to share with all those beautiful souls. And I'm excited for the projects coming next year, including the New Living Expo, which is going to be amazing. And I'm so, it's an honor to be a part of that. And also, if you guys are joining me on the cruise to Turkey and Greece, I am very excited about that. And yeah, some of you have signed up for that. And thank you so much for signing up. I can't wait to spend time with you on the cruise and all the beautiful places that we're going to be traveling to. So yeah, if you find that you're able to join us, it would be wonderful to see you there as well. All right, beautiful souls. What a powerful week. It's been a really powerful week because a lot of transitions that are opening up a new awareness of what we need to focus on. And so I want to talk a little bit about something that I've been receiving pretty strongly. And it kind of aligns with all these different aspects putting together, all these different pieces that we're coming into this new year. And I want to talk about what it means to align with harmonic order. I've had many questions about that, what that really means. What does that actually look like to embody with harmonic order? And basically, this is going to be kind of an intro to an event that we're having at the end of this month in January. It's perfect timing. I mean, it's not a coincidence. Of course, this question comes in perfect alignment with the event that I'm going to be having on the 20th, which is essentially taking a look at the ending of this year and the energies of this year being the year of the snake, being the year of the wooden snake, and the closing of that energy. And what does that mean for us energetically, etherically, as we come into this higher octave of being? And the invitation is really to close those cycles that have been repeating. And I think at this point, most of you are really aware of what those cycles are for you in your life. You're very aware of the patterns that you're repeating that are not in alignment with you. You're very aware of the things that are holding you back and why they need to change and how they need to change. And now it's a process of implementation. And sometimes we have parts of us that resist that change, that resists that implementation. And because it requires to move really out of our comfort zone in a way that is new and different. And sometimes it feels terrifying because where we once used to be okay with the mediocrity of our spiritual ascension or just like half-assing, essentially coming into that full potential. I think the biggest wound that we're healing in the collective for everyone comes down to the fear of power, the fear of empowerment, the fear of rising in that element of ourselves that is refined, that is coming into that authentic truth. And so a lot of the things that have been coming up in my sessions this week have been fear of truth, fear of really embracing that truth and accepting what you know is coming. And I think that this is a growing pain that we're going to be experiencing as a human race, because we are moving through these energies that are opening more and more our potential, our parts of us that need to be looked at, need to be activated, need to be worked on. And each time, sometimes there's a fear of losing this grip on reality, on the old construct, on the old way of looking and seeing at things. And so the invitation is really that we compassionately move through these transition points in a way that is really empowered and aligned with yourself. And that's not really looking for safety outside of you. Okay. So our go-to is, okay, I need safety. And that's usually the thing. I feel really unsafe. I need to, I want to embody this new aspect of myself. I don't want to repeat this pattern. What does that look like in my family? What does that look like with myself? What does that look like with my career, with my life and everything that I'm living right now? And so, again, you're literally becoming the creator. You are in the moment, co-creating yourself. So it's going to require the activation of a higher awareness. And that is not something, again, that you're going to find outside of you. There might be messages of that. There might be, little key elements and tidbits into what that looks like and feels like. But you are creating it from your perspective, because the deprogramming of those belief systems, again, it's the restructuring of your entire bioelectric system. It's the geometry of your core function of life force that is changing. And so that's the readjustment. Okay. So coming into this new self, it's not just a psychological thought. It's a restructuring of your entire geometry, how you hold light, how you're going to process light, how you're going to embody your truth, your expansion. And so at first, it's going to feel like we have nothing holding us, right? And then we're going to come into this expansion. And remember that as we're moving through, we are learning to become all and nothing simultaneously. And of course, that cannot be contained. That is something that is just massively expansive. And when I say massively expansive, it's not in terms of mass, it's not in terms of power over or presence or control. It's actually the dissolution of all the limiting identities that we have been repeating in all of these ancestral cycles for generations. So you humans, all of you that have chosen to come in at this time, I mean, it's pretty amazing what you're holding here. And so a lot of what we can feel is this, this activation of this root chakra. And we're healing the root chakra. Now, from this month until the end of this month, coming into January, is a very key time to heal the root chakra. What is the root chakra? The root chakra is your safety, your house, where you live, the stability. And this is, again, not an externally created stability. It's not a stability created by your partner, by your friends, by your families. This is an internal stability. And again, it's something that closes the electrical loop within us, because for many generations, we have been indoctrinated and we have been biochemically, emotionally, through the hormonal and chemical systems of our body, we've become addicted to the externalization of that process. That's a really huge thing that we're repairing. Okay. And we need to kind of go back to the compassion, because the compassion actually is the key emotional, psychological perception that will allow you to gather your energy. Okay, that's the key. If you cannot feel compassionate for yourself, if you cannot feel compassionate for others, that in itself is a rewiring of your brain, going from victim mindset, which was the old paradigm, hopelessness, helplessness, disconnect, isolation, separation. It's an incomplete rewiring of your brain to compassion, which is the glue that is going to teach your body energetically, psychologically, unity consciousness. Okay. It is the bridge. And so one of the key elements that we're having to cultivate within us is compassion as we move in from 2026 to 2027, because compassion emerges from that 0 point, from the neutral observer, the one that can see all perceptions and then act, feel, sense, intuit from the highest of that. Okay. And so remember, as we're becoming a new civilization, this advanced civilization, which many of you have seen, many of you have had the ability to tune into, you begin to get a sense of what it looks like to be unified, right? To be in this unified state of consciousness that unites all parts of yourself, unites you with others. And on Earth, the polarization is becoming stronger because we are fighting in a way subconsciously to get to that unity perspective. Okay. So we need to be aware of where we are becoming polarized internally, where we're becoming polarized externally, and gather our energy, gather your energy. Okay. So to be fully in the body, to be fully present in this body, is that you are the master of your energy, and that you begin to understand where your energy is depleted. Where are you like an octopus energetically leaking your energy out of the body, allowing you to become centrifugal, right? Where everything is depleted from the body. Now, the cultivation of your energetic structure is going to be essential coming into these new energies, because the more you become centrifugal, in the same way that things are speeding up for the better, they can also speed up for the worse, right? So the more you are depleting your life force, that depletion will be rapid, and it will also deplete you more, okay? So be mindful of that, because a lot of people that they feel or they believe that they're stuck. Okay, what is this? What is the depletion of your life force? The majority of the depletion of life force is resistance. Okay, it's absolute resistance. So we have to take a look at what are you resisting, and I want you to take a really a good look. Just a moment. There is a spider hanging right here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, sorry guys. I had a very lovely friend come and visit, and they just had to take a trip outside. So we're good now. Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, the embodiment of this is taking a look very clearly at how this sacred geometry is expressed in the body. Okay. And so remember that resistance energy is contraction. It's complete contraction of thoughts. Okay. And so let me give you an example. Okay. So where we notice what we're repeating and what's not in alignment with us, but we're kind of afraid to come into authenticity because we're afraid of how that's going to be received, or we're afraid of coming into our truth because we're afraid of being rejected. Okay. So immediately that resistance energy is a contraction. And I want you to be mindful. See, the process of all of this, the whole point of all of this is for you to become mindful and to become a more acute observer. And that's exactly what we are learning to do as the cultivation of the 0 point, because in the 0 point, you become an observer of things. And the 0 point is not just an observation and the origin point of your intuitive capacities, but it's also where you get to direct timelines in terms of where you're headed. Okay. So that 0 point, from that 0 point of observation, you get to choose which direction your energy is moving. And one of the superpowers that the human is cultivating at this time is the ability to work with choosing those timelines. Okay. And the timeline selection essentially becomes more powerful as we move through these new systems that we're moving through. Oh, just close it. Mark, thank you so much for that super chat, Mark. Love you. Thank you for that. So let's take a look at what we want to look at in terms of resistance from the biology, from our DNA, right? Because we talked about contractive energy, but from DNA, the contraction is that your DNA is not expressing its full potential. And that means immediately and practically an affected immune system. It means limited resources. You see, one of the most powerful things that I experienced through this process of reconnection and cultivation of the 0 point is that when you have access to that connection, that divine connection to your higher self, you have access to all information. There is no limit to the information that you have access to. You have access to information about what's happening in the world. You can see beyond agendas and false narratives that are being put out. You can clearly look at the entire world history. You can also see the future of humanity. And that ability to navigate that level of information, again, you can't come into that level of information with any sort of judgment, because a judgment won't get you far. And that's precisely what we're peeling away. Anytime that you try to compartmentalize things in right or wrong, you're always going to be in a very limited position, a very limited perception. And to embody this new human that we want to embody is basically to observe everything that's happening without judgment, because we have an understanding, we've matured into an understanding that we're operating in a higher order of things. And that requires the second key element, which is trust. Okay. And trust is another huge theme this entire year. Every single one of my students, every client, every session that I've had, that has been the key term: trust. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust the connection to the divine. We are afraid of being misguided. The majority of us never haven't had a parent that really modeled secure guidance system, and a system of guidance that, led us into experiences, that we feel were safe for us. What I mean by that is that, again, we're repeating constructs, we're repeating matrix programming. And so from the old model, it was survival. Okay. So if your perception is survival, you're always going to experience more survival experiences, things that make you embody survival. Okay. So again, anything done from fear results in fear. If your choices are coming from a place of fear, and I really want you to dig deep into your subconscious, what are you afraid of? And at first, a lot of people will say, no, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm fine. There's nothing to be worried about. Everything is wonderful. But in reality, even their spiritual concepts are based in fear, intimidation, and that's something that we have to pull away from, because that's kind of the residue of the influence of religion, right? Because in religion, religious concepts, there is good and a bad. There's shame, there's guilt, and then there's you're going to heaven or hell, and there's this repercussion, punishment, karmic concept of punishment, that if you are not coming into your full expression, you will suffer. So this is an old model, which is not true, in that if you embody survival, you will be in an experience which requires you to be in survival, okay, because you are the creator. Okay, so there's a tweaking of understanding there, because let me clarify, in the old model, we were in survival, and then on top of the survival, we had a plethora of emotions such as shame, guilt, unworthiness, sorrow, judgment, lack of acceptance and resistance. And so right now we're healing, we're becoming aware of everything we've done. And then we become traumatized. Then we have to heal the part that is rejecting ourselves, right? And so we're rebuilding now the core essence of the divine being who has always been connected to that divinity. And so one of the groundbreaking aspects of in the DNA reprogrammings in my sessions is that we discover the inner child, the one that was in the womb before it contracted all of those beliefs of unworthiness and fear and not welcome in this world, right? All these programs that we tune into. That child was gentle. It was clear. The vibrational frequency of that internal child was just in its divinity, in its pure expression, without having to shift or change its expression in some way. So these are the inversions that we adopt, right? We begin to adopt this divine expression, the inversion of that. And what that looks like is contraction, resistance, fear. In our sacred geometry, it becomes disorder, okay? In many different ways, couple ways. We come out of alignment with the natural circadian rhythm of the earth. Okay, that's one of the key things that I want you to pay attention to, especially coming into this new year, because if we want to align with energies that are nourishing to ourselves, we need to regulate ourselves back into harmonic order in all ways, physically, emotionally, psychologically. How are you going to do that? We struggle more when we are, again, embodying survival, which when you're in survival, you're not getting up on time, you're not nourishing your body, you're neglecting yourself, you're overextending yourself, you're going beyond your limits, abusing your body, abusing your mind, watching things that are destructive to yourself, watching things that create false belief systems and reinforce the inversions of harmonic order. So this level of awareness is to really pay attention to what activities are you doing that are reinforcing this disorder. And so we have a biological clock that is designed. This is designed by nature. It's the beauty and intelligence of nature in its spiral manifestation of order. It's a self-organizing system of energy. And every hour of the day is allocated the healing and regeneration of different organs in your body. Healing and regeneration. And when we talk about healing and regeneration of organs in your body, we're not just talking about the liver, healing itself and having time to recover during that time. This liver is connected to a certain planetary system. It's connected to planetary energies. So when back in ancient times, and actually I can talk about this, when we were in the Temple of Delphi, for example, every part of the body was a vortex connection that connects to different planetary systems, which we can channel information, because your physical body is a direct fractal. It's a fractal of the Earth, the planet Earth. It's a fractal of the solar system. And so through our deep connection to the body, we can read what is happening in the collective. We can read what is happening in the earth. We can read what movements are having on planetary shifts, energetically, physically, in the plates of the earth even. And so again, making this concept of activated intuition, higher octave faculties, is both a biological, it's an energetic, psychological system. Okay, and so the connection of having time to eat and sleep according to the most optimum regeneration for your body is that you open those aspects of your intuition. Okay, so there are meridian lines in the body. The liver connects to many meridian lines in the body. We'll have a course on that later this year. I want to go really deep into the energetic meridian system and how it connects to cosmic intuition. Because the meridian lines in the body, when they become blocked, again, how they become blocked in the physical body is exactly how they're becoming blocked in the field. And so the untangling of that blocked energy allows you to open and refine senses that are connected to those meridian lines. Okay, and so those meridian lines connect to the chakra systems, which connect to your endocrine system. And those endocrine systems are connected to important senses that we have, right? The five senses. We have many senses actually that we don't cultivate in our modern culture, but we are going to need to cultivate those once again. And so the sensitivity of connecting to your senses is the reconnection with your body. It is a refinement of full embodiment in the present moment. And it's the awareness that your body is actually the key to navigating all this information, to integrating all that you are. So coming into that natural clock will help you regenerate. It'll also help you eat more intuitively because your body is going to, ask to nourish those parts. When you sleep on time, when you get up on time, when you start bringing your life back into order, your body starts to come back into that. And so it's important for you to eat intuitively and be very mindful that you're not eating from a place of survival and that you are not eating from a place of fear, because everything that you think subconsciously is manifesting in the physical faster than ever before. And that's only going to intensify until we learn how to become a fully telepathic, to fully, telekinesis. We're going to learn how to become, I think, telekinetic. Is that the right word? Correct me if I'm wrong. In which we are able to move matter with our mind, with the consciousness and the effect on our environment. And in order for you to do that, you have to clean this mess in here, right? The mind. You have to clean the mess in here. And so whatever is messy here is messy externally. And that's where we live today. Everything's upside down. Everyone is confused. Everyone is disconnected and scared and lost. And the invitation for all of you beautiful divine souls that share space with me during this time is that we carefully, lovingly begin to reconnect with the body, to look at this as a divine vessel that is connecting you to this entire universe, only for you to master the matter that is around you as a pure co-creator. And so before we get to that point, we have to refine our intention. And again, the intention from survival is always going to result in more suffering. Fear equals fear. Okay. Love equals love. If you embody love, if you begin to do things from love, what love are we talking about? Is it a cuddly, cuddles to the kids, cuddles to the partners, cuddles to the pets? No. It is choosing integrity and what is truly in alignment with your highest good. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's not so fun, even if it's not so entertaining, breaking the cycle of the addictions that we have to comforts that are destructive. Okay, I want you to pay attention to to the destructive comforts that you have in your life. Because the more that we sleep and continue to sleep back into those things, you're gonna feel like you're moving through mud. And a lot of people have been having a hard time meditating, have been having a hard time connecting, staying still, staying connected, because we need to take a hard look at those external distractions. And you are being forced to be very present in your physical external life so that you can observe very carefully what is happening there. Because next year we're going to go deeper. Okay. And so one of the key elements of this coming year is that we are coming into a rapid acceleration of awareness, of ascension, you can say. Okay. So the preparation for that in the body is that we begin to come back into that harmonic order. Let's talk about what does it mean to be in harmonic order psychologically. We talked about the body. So psychologically means one thing, authenticity. Very simple, but challenging for most people, right? Your ability to be completely authentic without fear. And I want you to take a look at how has your presence been in the face of the most challenging individuals in your life? Are you able to be authentic, or are you still contracted? Are you still fearful? Okay. In the old model of our construct, we used to manipulate others, manipulate ourselves in order to conform with our social groups. That is the perfect way to deplete your energy. Centrifugal. Okay? Because you have to understand, you are conforming to an ill society. You are conforming to a group of, this example, right? Humans that might be operating from survival and fear, not in truth, in order to be accepted. And you can see very clearly when people are operating from a place to be accepted, to be liked, to be wanted, that kind of, there's always rules and constrictions and limitations to what can be shared, what can be said, what can be expressed. Okay. And so this is part of the preparation of your telepathic abilities as a human race. Why? Because when you're telepathic and everything is wide open, I can see your deepest fears. I can see the most shameful things you've ever done. I can see the most beautiful things you've ever done. And I can hold space for you. And I think one thing that's interesting is that you will be surprised that the more honest people are about themselves, when people open themselves up and actually speak their truth, it's like we can unite because we can understand each other. We understand where you're coming from. And every human on this planet Earth is a divine, innocent child. And the whole intention of that is pure love. It's divine essence of love. We have been falsely programmed that we are in danger and that we are victims and that we are going to be hurt by others and that we can be hurt by others. And so this is an inversion that we need to correct back into harmonic order. And the harmonic order is that there is no right or wrong. Everything is cause and effect. And that when we come into our authenticity and our truth and we act, behave, and embody the laws of the universe, which talk about resonance, mutual exchange, awareness, consciousness, self-love. When a person loves themselves, they will not cause harm to another person. And love, the concept of love is no longer constricted. It's no longer painful. It is open, free. And everyone can operate at the capacity in which they've reached. So that new sharing circle becomes a container for authenticity, not only for yourself, but for another. And so when we become telepathic and we can see beyond, we can see all thoughts and emotions, you know, the person that is in a state of fear and judgment and shame of themselves, if they even touch a thought that a person is having, let's say they have an opinion or a judgment about you, and then you feel shame and you feel hurt by those thoughts, the conversation is not going to get very far, right? Because we're going to come into defense mode, we're going to come into fear, we're going to come into this protection. So in the telepathic model of embodiment and communication, we have to have the maturity to see all things. And we have to be very, very honest with ourselves, know ourselves very well. When you know yourself inside out, nobody can tell you who you are. It doesn't matter what their opinions or ideas or projections might be, because you know yourself. And that goes back to the security, the healing of the root chakra I was talking about originally, because how you heal the root chakra is by knowing yourself inside out. That's how you create a foundation that is non-breakable. It's unbreakable. Even if the whole world is falling apart around you, you understand who and what you are. And trust me, that is not an identity. It's not a one thing. It's actually the opposite. It's understanding you are no one thing. You are this energy, and you even begin to transcend the fear of death. Because people that fear death are deeply attached to material things. They're attached to personalities. They're attached to concepts, ideas, matrix. It's the illusion. And so that's why we end up having ghosts, right? Because ghosts, these fractal aspects of ourselves that get trapped in between dimensions have so much density attachment, they can't leave. They're completely attached to this realm, one way or another. And this is not entanglement. This is another level of density, of connection to something that is an attach. Basically, it believes it cannot exist without that other. So we need to remember that when you're everything, you're never going to die, because you're in everything. You are as everything, for everything, through everything. And so your life experience then becomes an ever-evolving, moving system of energy that is just experiencing things, expanding, contracting, expanding again, contracting again, experiencing all things. And in that kind of body, let's go back to the physiology of what that looks like. We have energy flowing. We have the toroidal field. We have become centrifugal. Okay. And so that centrifugal movement is the key to high dimensional navigation. For those of you that are interested in that, is basically the lucidity of your waking state, lucidity of this current dream state, lucidity of your dream state, that you remember your dreams and you begin to speak the language of dreams, because those are energies. Okay. All right. So let's get into the meditation. I'm going to grab my little baking thing. I'm baking something. I'm going to be right back, and we're going to get into the meditation. I'll be right back. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Baking a yummy dinner, and yeah. All right, beautiful souls, get really nice and comfortable, and let's get started. And as always, please put your questions in capital letters. I'll be so happy to answer your questions. Recovery Lightworker, thank you so much for that super chat. Love you. Thank you so much. Edif 108, thank you so much for that super chat. I'm going to answer your questions at the end, put them in capital letters, and be so happy to answer them. What am I baking? I'm baking kabocha squash and sweet potatoes for dinner. All right. Clear your mind from food now. Ground yourself. Allow yourself to connect down to the center of the earth. As you allow yourself to return fully to your body. Return fully to the present moment. Allow yourself to ground down to the center of the earth and come into such stillness that you can feel the rotation of the earth through your body. Everybody that's here with us, we have about 200 people on the stream. And we come into a certain frequency when we allow ourselves to come into that alignment. Go ahead and visualize a giant sphere around your body made out of something completely impenetrable. As you tune into your energy body, immediately you're going to start to tune into your energetic body. So I want you to visualize and notice your field where you see variations, holes, and openings inside of your bubble. And you're going to close those spaces. We're going to start to work with the root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and shrink the root chakra down to the size of a dime. Go up into the sacral, shrinking the sacral down to the size of a dime. Go ahead and go up into the solar as you allow yourself to shrink your solar plexus down to the size of a dime. You go up into your heart. Go ahead and expand your heart chakra, opening front and back. Go up into the throat, expanding the throat, front and back. Open to the third eye, expanding the third eye, front and back. Going up into the crown, expanding the crown. Go ahead and fill it with your creative color, the color of your higher self. This is a frequency of your higher self. And you're going to align your higher self intentionally with your career, with your family, relationships, love, creativity, health, vitality, truth, and finally purpose. Fill it in. As you allow yourself to expand your crown, you're going to run energy. I want you to visualize from the center of the earth a powerful wave of green earth energy rushing up into the body. As you pull that up, as if you have straws in your feet, you're going to absorb into the body, up into the solar plexus, creating a vortex of energy. Breathing. Move that energy through your whole field and notice, where is it getting stuck? Where is it like not moving? Pay attention to how it's moving through your body. From source, we're going to pull down a powerful wave of gold cosmic energy coming down through the crown of your head, combining with this green earth energy. And allow yourself to take 10% of that back down to the center of the earth. Green and gold energy going down to the center core of the planet. And through that grounding cord, you're gonna, through that stream of elimination, I want you to clean your entire field, top to bottom, front to back, and back to front, all around you. Go ahead and focus on taking 80% of that green and gold energy now up your spine. You'll notice that the energy moves nice and fluidly now that you cleaned it out. Up your spine from the crown of your head, coating the outside of your bubble. Take that green and gold energy. And as it coats the outside of your bubble, you are cleaning the cords, energies that don't serve you, connecting you to the matrix, calling back your life force into your body as you inhale deeply. Just go ahead and visualize cutting cords with people, places, and things that are no longer in alignment with you at this time. Call your energy back into your body. Gather your energy. If you find some cords that are hard to break, I want you to shine your crown light on the person, place, or thing that you're having a difficulty disconnecting from. You're going to look at the contract that you share with that individual, person, place, or thing, and you're going to dissolve that contract. Go ahead and take that final 10% of green and gold energy, absorb it into your body, into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cells of your body as you heal your body. Infuse that green and gold energy into all your internal organs. Healing your organs. Go ahead and begin to observe yourself over the past week now. want you to take a look at the strongest trigger that you had this week. Bring it up. The strongest contraction of your energy this week, the time that you held back your creative life force, blocked it, constricted. Take a look at that. Just take a look at yourself in that moment and begin to name out the emotions that you are experiencing in that moment. Be absolutely present with that emotion, the strongest of those emotions in your body. Notice the part of your body that contracts when you feel this triggering emotion. Locate the part of your body and focus in on that part of your body. Inside of the discomfort in your physical body, you will find all the information you need to know. So I want you to name out the emotions that are stuck in that part of the body that feels this emotion. Go ahead and name out the strongest of those emotions. Notice the part of your body that's holding that emotion and shift your attention to that part of the body now. Be absolutely present with that emotion. Name it out. Name out all the emotions that are there inside of that emotion. As you identify that root emotion, I want you to take yourself back. It's going to be the one that stands out the most from those to the very first time that you felt that emotion. Take yourself there. I want you to observe yourself in this memory and take a look at what it is that you needed in that moment in order to no longer feel this strong trigger that you're feeling. I want you to notice what programs emerged from this emotional belief system. And I want you to take a look at how it's affected your life, this experience, how it's changed how you hold your energy, how you contract or expand your energy, how you speak, how you choose and make your life decisions from this perception. Observing the core root of how you repeat this similar pattern in your life externally and internally towards yourself. As you allow yourself to observe these patterns, it's become clear what you need. I want you to notice what would be the opposite of this emotional trigger, of this pattern that you're repeating. What's the opposite behavior of that? Go back to that emotion that you're feeling. Be absolutely present with that emotion. So be aware of what is it that you needed. To begin to see all the fractals of yourself. I want you to see exactly what it is you need, and you're going to turn that into a frequency of color. So let's say that you discover that you need more trust in yourself or more safety, whatever it is, like a sense of security, you're going to turn that into a color. If security was a color, what color would it be? If trust was a color, what color would that be? And I want you to fill your body with that alchemizing emotion now. So if you identified emotion like trust, fill your body with trust right now. And even though you're not familiar with what that feels like, I want you to identify a memory of the time that you were most closest to feeling that feeling. Okay, so you were able to trust yourself. Go to that memory, pull that emotion, and be present with it in your body right now. And you're going to teach yourself what it feels like to embody self-trust, or what it feels like to embody safety, or feel secure within yourself. And just all you have to do is name out the emotions that arise when you embody this state of being, when you feel yourself with this color. So in the example of trust, you might find that you feel safe, you feel peaceful, you feel more clear, you feel more empowered, you feel more expansive. Whatever it is for you, begin to get very familiar with those emotions. Feel them in your body. Notice the parts of the body that expand as you feel these emotions. That is the reprogramming of these subconscious core beliefs. Just observe all the qualities that change when you actually embody this state of being. You're going to see a radical difference in your nervous system, radical difference in how you tense your muscles, how you sit, your posture, the thoughts that you allow to come into your mind, the things that you feel and think. And as you allow yourself to be fully present with this, I want you to see all the fractals of yourself in your life that have repeated this pattern. Infuse them with this new understanding. Allow them all to be infused with this new understanding. And just notice how you're going to gather your energy. So from all of those memories, all those fractals, gather your life force back into your body. You'll feel your body becoming more energized, more calm, more connected. As you allow yourself to release the muscles in your abdomen and your chest and your back, this color frequency is going to be your healing alchemical key this week. So allow yourself to integrate all your fractals that you've healed. Shedding away all that heaviness that you're holding on to from the past, all those memories, all those deep, heavy emotions that you've been holding on in the body. Release them out of your chemical system, all the chemicals that are involved in, inflaming, that become inflamed by those emotions. Imagine that they're healing, releasing, bringing it back into balanced state. As you allow yourself to be absolutely present in this state now, this is the point in which you can heal your body. So if you have some ailment, some sickness, some pain in the body, you're going to start to feel relief as you deepen this feeling in the body of this new awareness. As you allow yourself to integrate that into the body, go ahead and focus on the root chakra at the base of the spine. Open the root chakra back into a balanced state. Open the sacral back into a balanced state, 6 inches wide. Open the solar plexus back into a balanced state. You're going to bring the heart in a little bit, the throat a little bit, the third eye a little bit. Bringing all your chakras in alignment in your body, go up into the crown, into the seventh, illuminating the seventh with your higher self. I want you to see a room full of karmic contracts. These are all the lessons you're here to learn. I want you to dissolve them completely, setting the intention that you're going to learn the same lessons that you need, that your soul needs from free will, compassion, and peace rather than survival. Go ahead and dissolve all those contracts. You're going to go into the next room where we have all the people that don't have our best interest, those karmic relationships. Go ahead and clear that up so that we can, through our free will, choose to experience relationships that are harmonious, peaceful, communicative, honest, respectful. Go up into the 9th, activate the 9th chakra, activate the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And I want you to see which one of those chakras shines the brightest for you. All the way up to the 24th, from the root until the 24th chakra. Whichever one shines the brightest for you, there is an invitation to communicate from your guide, from that aspect of yourself. So go ahead and connect to that chakra system that illuminates the most. And I want you to receive whatever is being given to you. Either it's a download or some symbolism that is allowing you to activate a new aspect of your awareness. Go ahead and integrate that into your heart. Very good. And as you allow yourself to come back into the room, bring yourself fully into your body. Open your eyes. I want you to connect to source with your eyes open. You're going to bring source down to the center channel, down into the center of the earth. And as you anchor yourself down into the center of the earth, you are fully connecting to the source. You have your bubble around you, you're grounded, your chakra system. You did beautiful. I want you to fill your body with love. I want you to love yourself, love your body, accept yourself, forgive yourself, embrace yourself fully. And this week, you're going to set the intention that you're going to walk in more harmony, in deeper harmony with yourself, feeling the needs that you discovered in today's session constantly. Okay? So I want to thank you so much for joining me. As always, it is an honor to share space with you. I'm just going to jump into the chat to see if I have any questions. Charles says, my father is currently in intensive care near the end of his life. I've been calm and accepting. Is there anything I can do for myself and the family? Yeah, so always when we are experiencing the end of a family member's life, especially someone so close, there's a couple things. For you, you want to clean up all of that, anything that has been unresolved internally. I want you to work on clearing that up, finding your true essence in those traumatic past experiences now that you have some time in your private time, and clean up those contracts. Clean up as many contracts that you have with your father as you can. This not only is going to help you come to terms with any healing aspects that need to be resolved at this time, but they're also going to help his soul in the transition point, because it's going energetically, we are one. And when we hold a lot of heavy pain and suffering with each other, at the end of life, he's also holding that energy. And so it's an invitation to his spirit to become aware of those aspects if he chooses to. He may not, but he can choose And the energetic invitation will come into his field through the kind of work that you're doing in your chakra, with your contracts with him. You can also help energetically clean the energetic space in which he's in, filling it with gold light. It's always a very good idea to begin to, there's many things, of course, when I work with individuals that are crossing over, we're holding space energetically, helping create a very compassionate portal for that leave. And so you want to clean up with some of those things, some of those contractual family agreements that can help his transition be more harmonious. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I would suggest. Thank you so much, Kitty, Brandon, Javier. Thank you so much. Yes, prayers for Charles's father, holding space that everything goes well. Liza Geisel, thank you. Stephanie, thank you, Charles. Love you. Thank you for being here. Very good. Cold air in my face at the ending. What is that, please? Well, temperature. So when we experience temperature shifts in our healing, it's energy releasing. If it's usually really, really hot, blocked energy in the body, by the time it releases, sometimes it creates cold air. I mean, it can turn cool in the body. And so, yeah, so pay attention to the emotion that was triggered just before feeling that, and just notice like what emotion is coming up there. Okay, right before you were feeling, what was the thought? Always pay attention to your thoughts, because your thoughts are creating your experience. So if it's a certain emotion that you're feeling and then it causes this temperature sensation in the body, you might also want to notice what part of your body, and check in if you have any blocked energies or blockages or pictures in your energetic space around here that you need to clear out. Sometimes your energy body is speaking to you, asking you to move some energy there. Okay. Thank you again for your super chats, everybody that's on the YouTube. It's such a joy and really grateful for that, for helping me support this channel. Mr. Agmore says, I just finished watching The False UFO Invasion Agenda and Hidden Truth of Alien Contact by Geraldine Orozco. It was really good. I wish that it was longer. Yeah, I think we talked about false alien inventions in the first panel. But yeah, thank you so much for participating. That was a really cool share, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Love you all. Mark, Tom, Grandizer, Fog, thank you so much for being here. Philip, Ozzy, Angie, thank you for being here. Kitty Hawk. How do I visualize the energy body? Should we see energy body in front of you or look at oneself from the mind's eye? Well, I mean, you really want to cultivate both. I don't know what the mind's eye means to you specifically. Maybe that means a certain perception. I don't know. But you want to cultivate first, you need to cultivate your intuition so you can sense in your senses, so you can refine the senses of your energetic body and tune in to, how far out is your energy extending? Is it contracted? Do we have holes in our field? That's basic energetic hygiene. So start there. That you should master. That should be like a daily practice, actually. And then secondly, with time in meditation, you're going to learn how to see yourself from outside and remote view yourself. And your perception becomes multidimensional. So you can see yourself in the body as well as you can see yourself from above, and you can see all of your energy field, at least within the physical dimensions, you'll see. Because, to see higher dimensions, you're going within, actually. You're going deeper within, which activates your higher frequencies. It allows you to travel higher dimensions and see the layers of your higher dimensional body. That's all within. That's all within. When I say without, it's more of a spatial awareness of your physical energetic field. Okay, and that's something that you can cultivate over time. I used to practice watching myself meditate. And observing that when I would alchemize something emotionally, look at how my energetic field would shift externally. And that's a good practice, especially for those of you that are healers, because it allows you to kind of tune in to the energy bodies, you know, what that looks like. But start by refining your senses, your hearing, your taste, your sound, your feeling, your sensing, your intuition, and then you can start to develop that expansion of that awareness. But truthfully, if you don't cultivate the 0 point from a neutral observer, that's going to be just projections. Okay, so keep that in mind, everyone. It's like for you to have a clear intuition, you have to learn how to regulate your emotional body, because otherwise your emotions are always going to be interfering in your intuitive insights, and they're going to just change what you're projecting more than actually reading what's actually happening. So reading is always when you close your first 3 chakras and open your top 3, which is you are in a state of intuition. And that's a certain structure in the body geometrically. And, you know, emotionally, it's the regulating of the nervous system. It doesn't mean blocking. It doesn't mean bypassing. It doesn't mean resisting. It's actually fully engaging in the embodiment of those things. Okay. I hope that's clear. Kitty Caddywhack, I love your name. Always love your videos. I save them so I can watch them several times. Thank you. Love you so much, Kitty. Thank you for all your work. Shala369, thank you so much for that super chat. I love you guys. You guys are fantastic. Let's see if there's any questions. If you have any, I had no idea this particular meditation was so sorely needed in my body. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lady M. All right, guys, have an amazing week. We have a lot of exciting events coming up. Just to name a couple, on the 20th, I'm going to be hosting this ending to this 9 cycle. We're celebrating the ending of this 25,000 year cycle. And the next part will be the entry into the fire horse, the year of the fire horse, which is coming in the beginning of the Chinese New Year. This is a different calendar system than the one that we are mostly in the West. But on the 20th, it's Rise of the Serpent, where we will talk about, in the alchemical process, we go through the Negredo, which is the shadow, deepest, darkest aspect of ourselves. And so the invitation, again, as I talked during this whole session, is observing those patterns and working with them. So on the 20th, we'll take a look at that. And in January, at the end of January, we're going to do another very special event that is focused on preparing for the year of the horse, of the fire horse. And what does that look like for each and every one of you? Okay. I'm also going to be doing an amazing conference called The Real Disclosure on January 3rd. And we're going to be talking about, you know, all things disclosure, essentially, ET contact, and what that means. What does that look like? You know, we all have very specific perceptions about that. I'm also going to be sharing with you a little deeper into interdimensional mastery and nervous system regulation. One of the biggest questions that I get on all my channels is, what do I do when I'm already becoming lucid in my dream and out-of-body experiences? So we're going to do a workshop to train the nervous system for when we're leaving the body. And that's very important coming into this year, because more people are going to learn to leave and enter the body. Okay, that's part of your multidimensional aspect. On January 17th, I have a very special panel that I'm going to, it's a course on Portal to Ascension called The Truth of Our Cosmic Lineage. We're going to talk all things starseed DNA. What does that look like? Where does that emerge from? How do we process that information? How do we access that information? So if you want to learn all about that, I'm going to be deep diving into those topics. And as always, our energy reading clinics are once a month. This month is going to be on the 23rd of this month. So please feel free to sign up for that. And hope you have an amazing holiday month with your family. And I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.